Hello, this is Joe Chris, and we're going to go ahead and continue down the route of relationship training, with today's video being to save my marriage. You may be asking this question: is it possible to save my marriage? If you're in what feels like a loveless marriage, or you're already at the point of separation and divorce, you actually may very well be asking this question yourself. Interestingly, oftentimes only one person in the marriage is actually thinking this question. The other either doesn't even realize there's something wrong, or actually just wants out altogether. If you are thinking that you need to start working on your marriage because it feels like it's in a downward plunge, or you want to get your marriage back, then here are a few tips that you can use. The first step in order to be able to answer your question of will I be able to save my marriage is to take a step back from it. Try to analyze your situation objectively, without all of the emotions. This is hard, and it is probably harder if you're still in the marriage, but you must do the best you can. Write things down. Try to figure out turning points, mistakes, what went wrong, and how you could have possibly avoided it. If you have already split with your husband or wife, minimize contact as much as possible so that you can have the time to get a much more objective perspective. This is not about blaming, but rather about assessing the situation. So try to do this without placing blame either on yourself or on your spouse. When you are doing this, try to pick out the real reasons for the problems and not just the symptoms of those problems. For example, if one of you cheated, that is not really the problem. It is the result of an underlying problem and very difficult to go through. But this is still not the problem, merely a symptom or possibly several of the problems. Of course, that just adds to all of the problems because the relationship is based on trust, and cheating really violates that trust. But there were other issues that led to that cheating as well. You may also want to talk to a counselor or therapist who can help you determine some of the problems and give you an unbiased viewpoint. After the assessment phase comes the time for action. This is where you should speak to your spouse about what you've been analyzing. This is most likely not going to be fun, so gear up for some opposition and prepare to be strong. You of course want to listen to what he or she has to say, but make sure your voice is heard too. Also, be prepared to change your mind if your spouse brings up something that you hadn't realized or thought of. This is not particularly enjoyable, but at least you are communicating. And communication is the key to all relationships, whether it be marriage, friendship, work, etc. Continue to communicate, keeping in mind that the communication must be effective. This means really listening, not shutting down, and talking in a calm manner. If it seems that you are continuously butting heads over every little point, and neither of you is willing to listen or give in, then the answer to your question of, is it possible to save my marriage, just might be no. But if you see even a little bit of progress, hold on to that and make it work. This has been Joe Chris, and I hope that the information provided in this video has been helpful and will help to save your marriage. If you want more information on how to save a marriage, just click on the link to the right of this video. Thank you for your time. Best wishes to you. And again, this is Joe Chris from www.getbacktogetherwithyourx.org.